Hey everybody, it's your Uncle Bear. Let's talk a little bit about death. Nobody likes talking about it. I know it's not the subject you wanted to talk about, but we need to talk about it because we all go through it. It's part of life. It's part of living and it's part of dying. And not everybody grieves the same. I remember when when my parents died, my sisters all said, "Oh, he hasn't grieved yet. He hasn't grieved properly." How do you know? The thing is, I've been dealing with death my whole life. I had my mother's father, my grandfather on my mother's side was dead before I was born. My grandmother on my mother's side was dead by the time I was 2. My grandfather on my father's side died when I was about 5 or 6. My grandmother on my father's side died when I was about 23. My dad died when I was 36. My mom died when I was 38. My brother died, I want to say I was about 51. And my oldest son died back in 2021. Plus, I was a hospital corpsman in the Navy. I was on a urology, thoracic, and vascular surgery ward, which is anything having to do with your heart, your circulatory system, your lungs, and the male urinary system, including testicular cancer, prostate cancer, bladder cancer, lung cancer. Yeah. We have the highest mortality rate in the hospital, we'll put it that way. And you do get, whether you want to or not, we all try and shield ourselves from it, but when you're in that line of work, you do develop relationships with patients that are there for extended periods. And it is hurts when they die sometimes, But we all look at death a little bit differently. For some, it's the end. That's all there is. For others, like me, I think it's the next stage of life. I do believe in God. I do believe there is a heaven and a hell. And I don't know for sure what it takes to get into either one of those places. But I only want to find out what it takes to get into one. I will tell you this. I'm going to relate a personal story. When my father died, the last few years of my father's life were pretty complex, pretty difficult for him. He blacked out behind the wheel of his car. They never figured out. They said it wasn't a stroke and it wasn't a heart attack. They never did figure out what it was. It was something medical. But anyway, he ended up paralyzed from the waist down. And he developed decubitus ulcers, bed sores. And anyway, he was prescribed some high-powered antibiotics that he had to. The hospital was about a block away from his house, so he just went up there every day to get these IV antibiotics. Well, it turned out he was allergic to them, and they dropped his platelet count, and they could not bring him back up. And the long and the short of it is, he basically bled to death from the inside out. It took 7 days. It took 7 days for him to die. A slow, painful death. And he was a good man. He did not deserve that. And the past couple days that he was alive, he was just speaking gibberish. We couldn't understand what he was saying. But his final words, right before he died, he looked up, all of us kids and mom and some of his grandkids were in the room with him. And he looked up into the corner of the room, up in the corner where the ceiling meets the wall at the top. He looked up in the corner, and his last words were, as clear as I'm talking to you right now, and hand to God, this is the truth. He said, "Is this heaven, Jesus?" As far as last words go, doesn't get much better than that, kids. Be safe out there. Be kind to each other. We're only here for a little while. That's all I got. Be safe out there.